All right, welcome everyone to my first episode playthrough of Domain of the Deathless King by Archmage Press. And I've put all of the encounters and images into Fantasy Grounds, and I've already created my players, so I'll go through that a little bit. But I haven't seen a lot of playthroughs. I've seen a couple, and there've been a couple of reviews. And this came out, I think, a couple of years ago, a year and a half ago. But I've wanted to play it solo, so I went ahead and put, as I said, most of it, at least the encounters and such, into Fantasy Grounds, so I could make it easier to play. And I'll be using the Sirenscape sounds in the back just for the kind of automated sounds on combat. And I probably won't do a lot of background sounds for the moment. But yeah, let's jump in and talk about it. So, Domain of the Deathless King is book one of five, and so far I've only loaded one in. I've seen that seems to take people about 10 hours, or at least I've seen that by a few playthroughs. So if I can continue this and play it past the first one, I'll try to do this over several sessions, and I'm going to be doing a party of four. And the way it reads is you can either do one full-fledged player character and then three of the NPCs, which are more stripped down versions of players. But I'm going to do two player characters. I'm going to do Shifty, who is a rogue. Let me pull him up. So Shifty is a level one rogue, criminal background, human variant. And I'm going to be doing Sigmund. Sigmund I'll put him over here so you can see that. Sigmund is a level one wizard, tiefling. And let's see what else. And Ramra is our first NPC, and she's a minotaur. And again, there's not really a class for the NPCs, but a little more tanky. So I grabbed her, and then the other one I grabbed was Niblet. Niblet is a goblin, but more of a support character. Actually, I need to trying to update these versions. I'm still using the legacy version. I haven't done much of anything on the 2024 version of D&D, so I'm just going to use the old version. So let's see if there's any other cleanup I need to do before we get started. Let me look. I felt like there was something I missed. Maybe not. Skills. Okay. I put all the gold. Oh, that's what I wanted to do. I think to begin with, let's look at the spells for Sigmund. So, Mage Armor. See, he's only got two spell slots first level, but I think it's always important to have Mage Armor on to give him a little bit of, yeah, let's see, a little bit of armor. So you can do 8 hours. So this will be once a day, roughly. So I'm going to just play it that way. 13 plus the Dex modifier. So I'm going to go ahead and have that to start. So let's cast Mage Armor, but let's see what this shows. So AC becomes 13 plus the Dex modifier. So let's see if that is set up correctly. So AC 3. I wonder if that was based on my Dex modifier is 2. So 13 plus 2 is 15. Yeah, and the AC is 12. So that's right. I think it did that automatically. So let's go ahead, and this should be I guess this should be I'll just do it to self. So I'm going to change that to self, put on the effect. And I haven't played Fantasy Grounds in a while, so bear with me. All right. So that should put Shifty to 15, but it does take a spell slot. So let me tick off one of the spell slots. So I only have one first level spell, but I do have a number of cantrips. So it might take me a bit to get into the game again since I haven't played for a bit. But let's open the PDF and let's start. So this is the image of, I guess, where we are. And our expedition is going to Eagle Watch. So it looks like that is going. Wonder if I can do a little. There's any way for me to like highlight. There should be, or text arrow. Oh, well, already messing this up, but that's all good. Text edit. Form highlight. There's got to be a highlighter here somewhere, but I'm not. I like the comment. Drawing. That's what I want. Will that work? No. Oh, yeah, it is in there. It's just not very big. So, all right. Well, you can see where Eagle Watch is. So, highlight area tool. How about that? There we go. Um, there's Eagle Watch. So, we're going to be going up there to Eagle Watch. So, I'm going to go back to this and credits. So, intro, it just talks a little bit about creating a party. I've done all that. And we'll get back into this short, long rest. If I need to flip back to this, I will. And I'm just going to jump in rather than try to explain all of the different nuances. So let's start. This is a bit of a wall of text, but I'm going to read this so that we're all on the same page. So you did not mean to stop at Rover's Wind at all. Your party was heading south to explore the forgotten temples of Nakora when you heard the dreadful news from a traveler. Your homeland of Korodon was under attack. Apparently, the invasion began small, with hauntings and localized raids by bands of rotting skeletons in the outlying farmsteads. Within weeks, legions of undead were marching towards the fortified towns. Each undead legionary whispered the same chant: "The Deathless King will retake his home." Unsure what you could do against such odds, you nonetheless marched at full speed toward the capital city of Manilia, determined to offer your services against this threat. Your ration packs were empty by the time you reached the small village of Rover's Wind, and it is there you made an encounter that would change your lives forever. For staying at the Sleeping Lion, the only inn in the village, was no less a figure than the Archmage of Korodon himself, Blasco Roccozo. He too was making his return to the city, and at first you thought to travel with him back to Manilia. Roccozo's eyes lit up when he saw you, however, and it soon became apparent he had a different plan for you. "My friends," he said gravely, the firelight from the hearth illuminating his features, "another sword in Manilia will make no difference. Even I, with all my magical might, can only hold off this force for so long. But a sword in the heart of the Deathless King may make all the difference in the world. No, your journey is not west to Manilia, but east to Eldervor, the fortress of the Deathless King himself." You join the Archmage by the fire and press him with questions. Who is the Deathless King? How far is your journey? How can a band of inexperienced adventurers succeed where an Archmage cannot? Roccozo draws upon his pipe and calls for more ale from the worried barkeep. The Deathless King is no less a figure than Esteban Camacho, founder of the Kingdom of Korodon himself. In his mortal years, he ruled long and wisely, establishing a safe and just kingdom in a land overtaken with chaos and marauding monsters. As he aged, he grew fearful, believing that his successors were not worthy of running the kingdom in his absence, and he used many magical potions and artifacts to extend his life. By the time he had turned a century old, even the most powerful magics were failing him, and he sought darker methods to guarantee his rule. He achieved the cursed station of lichdom, of living death, and at that moment he realized the foolishness of what he had done. Knowing that he would soon lose all connection to his humanity, he finally allowed his granddaughter to rule in his stead and exiled himself in distant Eldervor, the great castle he made to protect the eastern border of the land, unable to die. He vowed to seal himself away forever from the living. Roccozo shakes his head, sipping ale to clear his throat. Alas, even his iron willpower could not hold off forever. In time, the wicked spirit of the Lich took over, and the Deathless King began to use his sorcery to warp and change the lands of the East. Good people abandoned it, and soon only the wicked-hearted and terrible monsters lived beyond the Barisor peaks. The Archmage leans closer. He must be destroyed, both for his own as well as our good. King Esteban would be horrified at the creature he has become. As to why it must be you, alas, I am well known to the Deathless King. He knows my face and will be well prepared for me. The Deathless King will not be expecting a group of unknown adventurers approaching on foot. You will have the element of surprise. As to your experience, believe me, after tracking through the Chaos Lands, you shall quickly learn what you are capable of. Roccozo reaches into his robes and produces a map of the East. Your mission shall see you across the Pike River and into the bandit territory of eastern Korodon. Several small villages, which no longer pay fealty to the kingdom, dot the way before you reach the slopes of the Barisor Peaks. At the top of the mountains, you shall find the last friendly town, the settlement of Eagle's Watch. The Watchmaster is a good friend, and you might consider confiding your mission with him if you feel it is safe to do so. Otherwise, keep your tasks secret, for spies of the Deathless King have been abroad in the bandit lands for years. Should the Deathless King now know you are coming, your greatest advantage will be spent. Past the mountains, you must wade across the dreadful fire marshes, a perpetually wet inland soaked by the waters of the Kraken Sea to the south. Mount Ignis, a volcano steeped in sorcery and rare materials, will provide the only dry land across the marsh. But beware, for it is the home of giants and worse creatures, and it even threatens the land with its fiery rivers and clouds of choking ash. Beyond the marsh stands the city of Escae, growls the Archmage. I wish I could tell you it was safe from respite from your long travel, but this would be a lie. It is the domain of the wicked-hearted men and terrible monsters that live with each other in tenuous peace. However, you might find an ally there. As far as I know, my colleague Lena Gendril still lives somewhere in the sea. She is a wild elf and knew the Deathless King when he was still a mortal man. If you know about the dead king, if you know more about the dead king when he was still a mortal man, and his territory, for Lena has refused to leave the land she calls home, even as it has fallen to evil. Find her and ask for her aid. She may know of the weakness of the Deathless King and might advise you how to breach his fortress of Eldivor, as she was one of the original designers of that strange place. I'm going to take some notes for a second, if I can find them. Session 1 notes. Find Lena, and let's see. That is Lena Gendril. Find Lena Gendril. She knows a lot about the Deathless King. And let's see, let's read the rest of this. Past Escae, you must plunge into the chaos wastes themselves, a land so near the Deathless King, it has been changed into a jumble of deserts, frozen wastes, jungles, and broken plains. Storms rack the land, and terrible monsters, twisted by the king's sorcery, roam the wastes, wild and flesh-hungry. The remnants of forgotten towns and temples might provide you with some protection from the ever-changing weather, but they are just as likely to hold savage beasts as sanctuary. Lastly, surrounded by a sea of shattered glass, you shall come upon Eldivor itself, says Rokoso, his eyes heavy. No sane creature has set foot within its walls for the last 400 years. Breach that terrible fortress and slay the mad monarch within. Hopefully, Lena Gendril will have provided you with the means to overcome him, but by fair means or foul, he must be stopped. Destroying him will shatter his undead legions and save our homeland. Rokoso leans back in his chair, tired to his bones. To even state your mission aloud makes it seem impossible, and yet it must be attempted. Be tight-lipped and watch for spies from the enemy. Remain secret, move quickly, be curious, and be strong of heart. Know that the good wishes of Corridon go with you. Your party talks long into the night, well after Rokoso has retired to bed. You agonize about whether to accept the mission, but eventually realize there's little choice. You might slay a few skeletons in Manilia, but only by destroying the Deathless King will your land be safe. Resolute, you get a good night's sleep, for you have a long journey ahead of you. Okay, so I'm going to go back to... I want to take down one other name. So I'm going to put the Deathless King is Esteban Camacho. The Deathless King is Esteban Camacho. And then, if I could spell. And then I might make the font bigger too later, but. And there's one other person he said might help us. I'm horrible about remembering these things. Now, Ignis. Where is that name? There was the Watchmaster. Okay. While you're at the top of the mountains, you shall find the last friendly town, the settlement of the Eagle's Watch. Okay. At Eagle's Watch, we might find an ally in the Watchmaster. I don't think he said his name. So, all right. So let's kind of keep that. And I'm going to keep my note down here so I can remember that. And okay. I might do music next time, but I was having a little audio issues. So let's go to 217. I wonder if I can, God, I hope I can just, I wish there was a hyperlink. You know what? I'm going to pause for a second. Okay, that makes sense. I assumed there'd be a hyperlink, but let's go directly to 217. All right. You wake early, the bright summer sun glaring through the cloudy windows of your inn room. Once downstairs, you find that Rocoso has already gone before the dawn. However, he has organized with the innkeeper to provide you with rations for your journey. There isn't much to spare, as many young women and men of Rover's Wind have set off to offer their swords to the army of Corydon, and most preserved food has already been taken. Nonetheless, the innkeeper spares all he can, clapping you on your back in appreciation of your courage. Note that you have 2 days of rations for your party. Pull your gold together. You have whatever gold pieces are owned by your PCs. I have that, plus 10 gold pieces for each of your party. So I'm going to go back. I'm going to have Shifty be the one that carries all the inventory. So I'm going to put rations on here so that we note it. And let's add, I'm going to say days rations. And this is for the whole party. And there we go. We've got 2. And I don't know if there's a weight, but we'll just say 2. And that is carried. We'll just leave it as carried. All right. Leaving Rover's Wind, you head east, soon coming to the banks of the Pike River. You have heard from the locals that there is a bridge crossing the river to the north, but that bandits have begun charging a toll to use it. You might consider following the river a little to the south. Perhaps it will narrow and you can cross it safely. So my first choice already, head northeast to the toll bridge. I don't want to get in a fight like right off the bat, I don't think. So let's follow the river south and try to find our own crossing. So let's go to 313. You stroll down the riverbank, ducks and swans keeping a wide berth from you in case you try to turn them into rations for your trip. Eventually, you come to a small rundown boathouse. The door lock is long since broken, and you peer inside. A small boat just large enough for your party is tied to the moorings inside, but it has a hole in the bottom and is half sunk in the reed beds. Still, it's not far to the other bank. Perhaps you could try to repair it enough to make it to the other side of the river. So either attempt to fix the boat, swim across the river, or walk back towards the toll bridge. Oh, we're going to try to fix the boat for sure. You find a hammer and a rusty saw. You can prise the nails you need from the rotting boathouse itself. Whistling, you settle down and make some repairs, pulling boards from the walls of the boathouse and attempting to block up the gash in the bottom of the boat. Make a DC 12 intelligence check. If you have a tool proficiency in carpenters or vehicles or wish to cast the mending spells, you may add to your proficiency bonus to the check. So I think I'm going to use Sigmund. And Sigmund has skills. Let's see. Oh, it's just a straight up intelligence check. But I can cast, I believe it's gonna take me just a bit to learn these folks. So I'm gonna put them up and down. But I think Niblet has, I think he has not I thought he had guidance. Could have sworn he has a cantrip guidance. Guidance, yep. So I should probably make this effect just so I can remember it. So let's make an effect and I'll put it over here so you can see it. So we're just going to say, and this, I might be able to do it a different way, but guidance, semicolon, and we're going to say 1d4. Gosh, it's been a while since I've done this. Check. check 1d4. I don't know if that's going to work or not. Let's try that. And I'm going to say this is just one roll. So let's try, I'm going to put that onto Sigmund. And if this doesn't work, I might pause and get that figured out because I do want to have that. So let's do a straight up intelligence check and see if this works. Should be a +3 and then the 1d4 for the check. 6. Oh my God. What a good start. Wah, wah, wah. Okay. So that's a failure. So if you fail, turn to 77. Try as you might, you just can't keep the hole watertight. In your annoyance, you break through another section of the boat as you hammer a nail in. This is taking too much time. Cross with yourself, you abandon the boat. Swim across the river, far side, walk up towards the... God. Am I going to get everything all soaking wet? Like, I don't know. We've gone this far. Let's try to swim across the riverbank. The bridge soon comes within sight, a decent stone bridge of old cordon manufacture. It arches over the riverbank, cluster of rushing waves in the breeze at the base. Unfortunately, the rumor of bandits turns out to be all too true. Swaggering across the bridge... Wait. I already thought I tried to swim, right? I wish I could go back. Can I go back? I think it was 30. Maybe I missed that. I think I screwed that up and clicked the wrong link. Not surprising. I'm going to have to go back. All right. Give me a second. So we turned to 217. Then here, followed the river to 313. Attempt to fix the boat. We failed. Failed the boat. Turned to 77. So I'm on 77. Swim across the river, 199. I knew I did that wrong. The water is cool and deep, and the flow is quite strong. However, you are fit adventurers and manage to swim across to the far riverbank without too much difficulty. Alas, you cannot keep your packs dry. That's what I was worried about. And when you reach the far side, you find your rations are soaked. You try to save what you can, but you've lost a lot of food. Lose a day's rations. I kind of had a feeling that would be the case. Still, you are on the far bank and in one piece, drying yourself off as best you can. You march eastwards. Gain 50 experience. Okay, so let's do this. Let's go back and I think did we have 3 days of rations? I need to open Shifty. I know I'm horrible with names. And I'm going to put this at the top. I wonder if I can do this. I just want to put this at the top. Can I just make this like a 1? And will that reset it? There we go. Or maybe I'll say A day's rations. It'll stay at the top. So I had 2 days rations. Now I have 1. Not good. All right. But I do get 50 XP. So is that... I should know this, but I think that's got to be for the party, right? So let's go to the party sheet, and I'm still getting this set up so you can see it. Let's drag everybody in and Sigmund. And I don't know if these NPCs can be dragged in. Probably not. That's okay. Is there any way I can drag those in? No, that's okay. Because they're not really they're not PCs, so I'll deal with it. So let's do this. Oh, that might affect well, XP. That's interesting. I don't know if the XP gets split ultimately. So let's just say quest. I'm going to do a quest award here. And we'll say river crossing. And that's 50 XP. And then I think it's been so long since I've done this. Do I just pull it up there? No. XP. So do I do anything? Oh, I just click award, I think 50 XP. Yeah, and it gives you 20 each. I think that's right. I'm going to pause a second and see if I have to split my experience points across all 4 members. Okay, found the answer in the FAQs, and it is definitely the XP is definitely just split with your players. So that's great. Great to know. All right, let's move these back. And let's go back here. So where are we? I'm going to be horrible about tracking. Okay, there we go. So turn 133. So is there anything else I need to do effect-wise, spell-wise? I don't think so. You're following a rutted path that runs through the countryside. A signpost suggests that if you keep following the road, you eventually arrive at the village of Torova. The road skirts some light woodlands to the south. Remembering Rakozo's words, you wonder if you should stay on the path or divert in the woodlands to keep out of sight. All right, so anyone paying attention might notice that my headphones are now physical headphones. I took off my wireless headphones. So I'm going to see if, I apologize in advance if the audio is a little squirrely, but I want to have some background music and I'm going to be using Bardi. I'm going to use Sirenscape for my sound effects, and Bardi should switch the mood based on like what I'm narrating. So I'm really anxious to see how that will go. It's a new program that will actually change the sound and audio based on your narration. So hopefully this works and is not too overpowering. So we'll see. All right. So do I want to stay on the rutted path? I think I want to skirt the woodlands to the south. So I think I'm going to go to the woodlands now. So let's do that. The branches of the woodland trees provide merciful cover from the heat of the summer, and glittering flecks of sunlight dance across the heathery floor as you make your way out of sight of the road. Your stomachs grumble, and you wonder if it would be worth spending a little time hunting to increase your rations. I think that's an excellent idea. So let's go ahead and do that. And I will, go on a brief hunt to try to catch some small game. The wood is rarely traveled and so seems a likely spot to find some food. Berries can be seen bursting from bushes, and rabbits scamper from place to place as you crunch through the undergrowth. So I need to make a DC 10 wisdom survival check. If you succeed or a party member has natural... Okay, so let me see. I'm going to open the party sheet again. Inventory order. I thought this would tell me a little... Oh, there we go. So I can choose one party member to make a wisdom check. And so she has 10. Ramra, and Niblet has 18 wisdom. So I can use Niblet, and Niblet can cast guidance, right? So I might as well do this, right? Because guidance is a cantrip. And yeah, so let's do that. I'm gonna put that effect as a hotkey because I feel like I'll be using it a lot. So let's just move that. I'll probably reorganize these next session, but I'm going to click on Niblet. And do I need to target Niblet? Actually, I think I can just drag this and drop it. Maybe not. How about if I target Niblet and click on the guidance? No, that just didn't work. So let's go back again to the effects. Can I drag this? Yes. So I can just open that and trying to get it to where you can see this. But so I will click on guidance there and it shows it was added to Niblet. So I'm good. So now Niblet is going to make is it wisdom check? Oh, it does say survival. Shoot. Maybe I'll rethink this for a second. I am going to clear this off. Let's look at effects. All right. And I'll get to know these players a little bit better next time. But Ramra has +2 survival. Does anybody else have decent survival? I don't think so. Shifty, skills, survival, no, +1. I don't have anybody that has a great survival. I thought it did, but at least Ramra has +2. So we're going to give Ramra the effects. So we'll give Ramra the guidance, and yeah, and then Ramra will roll the survival check. All right, 14. So that's good. So at least we succeeded on that. So let's see. Go to 90. Your foraging soon uncovers sweet berries and tasty looking rabbits. Gain an extra day's rations as you methodically strip the bushes of their fruit. One party member may shoot at a rabbit with a ranged weapon if you wish. A spell would be too destructive. Make a single ranged attack against an AC of 12. If you hit, get another day's rations. Awesome. So I think Shifty has attack range +2. So we know we get 1 ration, but let's attack the rabbit and see if we're going to do a short bow. That should be 1d6. Or sorry, that should be +5, +2 for range. So let's try this. All right, 27 against a 12. So that's a hit. Oh, I accidentally attacked Ramra, but that's okay. I won't do any damage there. So awesome. So 2 days of rations. So this becomes 3, thankfully, because I lost 1 from the river. So I think that works. All right, let's go back. Pleased with your successful hunt, you may make your way onwards. Gain 25 experience points and turn to 140. So we're going to do 25 experience points. I kind of like doing this. Not that I need to, but I'm going to say hunting, gathering. And just do 25. And I think, 25. And then I'm going to award. It should only award. Yep, there we go. Awesome. Okay, turn to 140. The sun sinks lower and lower in the sky, and soon the trees are spreading dark tendrils of shadow across the woodland floor. Your thoughts are just turning to finding a safe spot to camp when you hear the chilling howl of wolves. They are close, too close. Peering through the dim light, you make out the shapes of darting gray-colored wolves circling your position excitedly. They are whipping themselves up into a frenzy as more and more of the pack arrive, howling and snarling at you, herding you into a tighter circle. They are building up their courage to attack, darting from the bushes before pulling back to the safety of their pack. So, attempt to frighten the wolves away. I don't think I have speak with animals, climb a tree out of reach, attack the wolves. Let's try to frighten them first. I don't have a real reason to just immediately attack. So, yeah, let's see. Let's try to frighten them away first. Despite their ferocity and theatrics, the wolves are still just animals. It might be possible to give them a nasty scare and cause them to run, especially if you combine it with a fearless display of courage. Make a DC 15 Charisma Intimidate check. You can gain advantage on this check if one of your spellcasters casts a spell that does fire or thunder damage, or if a person making the check casts the thaumaturgy cantrip to make their voice boom loudly. So I do have thaumaturgy with Sigmund, I think. So let me go back and look at my, thaumaturgy, and that is a cantrip. So I could do it with advantage, but that would be if the person making the check casts. So I guess I'll just say I'll have to do that. So I could do +1 with advantage, but it's a DC 15. How about we do this? I'm going to do... I feel like one of them has good charisma. Niblet has 9, and Ramra has 9. So let me look in the party again. Oh, I don't. Well, Sigmund's not bad. Sigmund's got 12. I guess that's the best. Sigmund is the best charisma. Why did it say? I thought I said 9. No, he's got 12, so it's not horrible. But I need a 15, so should I take... What is... I think this is legit, but if I cast... So what is that again? If I cast guidance, I always forget if it's just one. You touch once before the spell ends, they can add D4. All right, so let's go ahead and I'm going to cast that, and it should only be on once. We're going to do advantage, disadvantage. You know what? We'll do it this way. Let's do advantage, and then I'll roll the D4 after, and he's going to do a intimidation check. All right, so he passed it anyway. I didn't need the extra, so that's great. Got an 18, so that's awesome. So we succeed. Your brave display sends the wolves recoiling in fear. Convinced they have bitten off more than they can chew, they go howling back into the undergrowth. Breathing a sigh of relief, you move a little further onwards in case they should come back. Gain 50 experience points. Awesome. So we're going to say... I guess I could do... So that was 322. Maybe I'll do it that way. 322. Scared away. Wolves. Was that 25? I think it was. Oh, no, it's 50. Okay. 50. So we're going to do that, and we're going to award that 50. All right. 311. The sun is now so low in the sky that the trees all but block its light. Exhausted after your long day's travel, you set up camp. Roll a d6. If you roll a 1 or a 2, record this reference number, and then turn to 333. Otherwise, read on. So I did a 3. So just read on. You must take a long rest. Consume 1 day's of rations. So let's do that before we forget with Shifty. So our rations is down to 2, which is fine. It's kind of cool that it went to the campfire and I didn't say anything. I love that. Okay. And recover your hit points, hit dice, spell slots, and abilities. So let's go ahead and do a long rest. Okay. So we did that. Additionally, okay, that's if you don't have any rations, but we do. At the break of dawn, so it's now the break of dawn, you pack up your camp and continue your trek eastwards through the wood. Turn to 17. The rising sun glitters through the trees, devouring the morning mist. You decide to begin heading slightly northwards, hoping to reach the town of Tarova by evening. Traveling through the wood has been disorienting. You are not exactly lost, but neither could you point to precisely where you are on a map. After a few hours, the trees begin to thicken to the extent... to the extent that you are forced to hack a path through the undergrowth to make progress. To your surprise, you come upon an archway composed of entwined trees. Through the archway, a sort of tunnel or corridor roofed by the interlinking branches of trees leads off into the gloom. A woman, I wonder if I can, oh, you can see that. A woman dressed in all white, standing by the archway. Wordlessly, She beckons you forward before walking softly into the tunnel. She does not respond to your calls. Will you follow the woman through the archway or avoid this sinister place and forge onward? Oh, man. Hmm. Do I follow her? I want to follow her. I want to see where she's going. There's a little hint there. Avoid this sinister place. I'm going to follow the woman through the archway. I don't know. Why not, right? I'm not here to paint. All right. You make your way through the tunnel of trees, the sunlight barely penetrating the thick canopy above. Soon enough, the tunnel opens into a wide clearing dominated by a circle of crudely chiseled stones. A stone slab sits in the middle of the circle, stained a dark brown with long dried blood. Oh, God. The skeletons of dead humans peek from the fertile earth. Oh, my God. Their skulls grinning malignly in the green light. A man with a long gray beard stands by the altar. You have come to a sacred place, friends, he intones, holding a sharp knife in his hands. The old king's return is nigh, and the worship of the true gods follow with him. We must prepare for his arrival with a festival of blood. Come, give your blood freely in the ritual of Kath. Otherwise, we must harvest it from you. The young woman leans against a stone behind the old man. Don't be fooled, she lilts. Consent to the ritual. We are mightier than we seem. Consent to the ritual? Hell no. Drop your weapons and attack the allies of the Deathless King. Quickly flee this terrible place. I think we need to try to flee. I am a little worried. Like, I don't. Yeah, let's try to flee first. You don't like this place, and quickly take to your heels and flee back down the tunnel of trees. The mocking laughter of the old man rings in your ears, and soon the trees come to life, branches grappling your waists and earthy roots choking at your throats. The archway is so close, but the trees are choking the life from you. Each party member must make a 14 strength, athletics, or dexterity check. If they succeed, they manage to pull themselves free. So if they lose 4 hit points, if they fail, they lose 4 hit points. Oh man, each party must repeat the check until they succeed. If a party member is reduced to 0 hit points, they are slain, dragged into the trees. Oh my god. All right, Shifty, you start. So we need a DC 14 athletics or acrobatics check. So he's going to do acrobatics, and it was DC 14. 16. All right. Shifty's good. Let's go in order. Ramra's next. Ramra has +6 athletics. All right, 19. She makes it. Let's do Sigmund, the wizard. Acrobatics +2. Can I cast? I always forget, like, am I being too generous by casting guidance? I can't cast guidance in the middle of this. It's not. Yeah, I don't think I can. So acrobatics or athletics. Yeah. Yeah, I guess we'll do acrobatics. Oh, snap. The wizard comes through. And now it's just Niblet. Come on, Niblet. So I don't have. Yeah, I don't have any. So I think he just has to do a straight up, like Dex, just a check. Acrobatics, so just 0. Yeah. Ah, so that's 4 points of damage. Oh my god, that's 8 points of damage. Whew. All right, so he took 8 points of damage. So he's down to 9. But at least we got out, right? I think that's good, provided at least one PC survives, gain 50 XP. So let's go there. And I'm going to say that was I'll call it entry 99. Woman in white escape. And we'll say 50. And we are going to award that. So we're getting there. Whew. So I'm a little worried that Niblet is down to 8 and we just rested overnight. So I think, does Niblet has spells, right? And let's look at Niblet again. Spell casting. I think I need to add these here for Niblet so I don't forget. So, why doesn't it have that? I'm going to look up Niblet, but I think this should be 2 and 1. Let me briefly look at Niblet in the back of the book. Niblet. 3 first level and 1 second level. Okay. All right. So 3 first level and 1 second level. And can I double click on them in here? Yeah, I can. Good. So, cure wounds. I think I'm going to go ahead and have him cast cure wounds on himself. So let's target himself. Make sure he's targeting himself. Let's get rid of this. And let's do cure wounds. Luckily, he gets +4. Jesus. I'm surprised that didn't trigger sound, but that's all right. So let's go back and make sure that we take off a level 1 spell. Yep. And okay, he's got 3 left. That wasn't perfect, but not bad, all things considered. Okay. Turn to 50. The trees begin to thin as you head northwards, and sunlight now dapples the many clearings in the wood. Ahead you see a sight that it's both wondrous and slightly worrying at the same time. A thick oak tree bedecked with tiny lanterns and clothing lines is the home of dozens of fairies. The little men and women, none of them more than 6 inches high, flutter and swoop between the branches, laughing and brawling with one another in unending frolic. Will you investigate the fairy tree or give it a wide berth? You know what? We are about 45, 50 minutes. So I think I'm going to go ahead and call this session here. And I'm going to pause the background music. I do want to check. I'm going to put the ambiance down. I'm going to do an attack with Shifty and just make sure the audio seems to work. Because I would have thought that I would have heard the spell, but it's possible that spell wasn't coded. So I'm going to do this quickly. That sound. Oh, I didn't have anybody targeted. Let's target Rammer again. And then how about now? Okay. Okay. So that does work. I wonder why the spells didn't work. So I'll check that later. You don't need to stay for that. But anyway, thanks for watching. I really hope I can actually do another session today. I really enjoyed that. And I hope you did as well. But I'm really liking this as an adventure. I need to make a note. I'm on entry 50. So maybe I'll do that before I close this. Session 1 notes. Ended at entry 50. Okay. Good deal. Well, thanks everyone for watching. Shoot me a comment or drop a like if you like this playthrough, and I'm going to keep going next time. Thanks for watching all.